Hi folks, today I'm going to show you how to set up Mentionkit for your own project and how to uh, make Mentionkit a core part of your marketing strategy. So let's get started. The first thing you want to do is when you set up a project with Mentionkit, we will extract all the details about your project, your competitors, your moat, things like that. You want to go in and refine those details. So you can click on your name and go to project and click on edit. For this example, we're using an e-commerce brand called Magic Spoon. So I'm just gonna go in and double check all the details. So for instance, the type should be a e-commerce. Everything else is looking good. Description is correct. Users, like what kind of people might be using our product. Company mode and competitors. So this is all good. Now, the reason why you should do this is because when you either generate a comment or even when we get all the mentions for your project, we will label it with a relevance score. The correct data we have, the better data that we have, the better the mention quality will be. That's the first step. The second thing you want to do is you want to pin the Mentionkit web app or pin or bookmark it, something like that. The reason why is because you're going to be using this every day. So what you want to do is when you start your day, go to Mentionkit, look at the mentions you got recently in the last 24 hours or like whatever, like couple of days, and go through them and start commenting on them. All right, so that's the second thing. You want to build a habit of responding to mentions. The third thing we're going to do is we're going to set up our keywords. So in terms of setting up your keywords, you should have at least 3 types of keywords. The first will be your brand keyword. In this case, it's Magic Spoon. The second would be keywords like your competitors. So for instance, you have Gashi, you have Catalina Crunch. There's another one as well, 3 Wishes. So we're gonna add that in as a keyword. And the third type of keywords you want to have is industry specific keywords. For instance, Magic Spoon is a cereal brand, so cereal could be a keyword, keto cereal could be a keyword, etc., etc. I don't recommend having really broad keywords such as say keto cereal because cereal is because it's just like too broad. Like you're probably gonna exhaust your mention limit, so you're probably better off like having like keto cereal, granola cereal, something like that. All right, now I'm gonna add in a keyword, 3 Wishes. So 3 Wishes is one of the name of our competitors for Magic Spoon. You can select the platform when you add a keyword. We're not gonna select all these platforms, only Reddit, because it's a B2C brand and we don't expect people, our customers, to be on LinkedIn or Hacker News at least. They might be on Twitter, but for this example, we're gonna use Reddit. All right, so I'm gonna add the keyword. All right, so where's our keyword? Anyways, I'll set up the keywords and look, I have spent a grand total of 1 minute, but you really want to spend a good amount of time on researching keywords. I'll give you a bit of a trick to find keywords. For instance, you're not sure what kind of industry keywords you should be going for. One thing you can do is go to Google and type in something like sitereddit.com, and then you want to put in your competitor. All right, you can also put in your own brand name, but if you're a very young brand, then most people won't be talking about you, so it's really not useful. You want to put in your competitor though, and when you do that, you'll get some subreddits where people are talking about your competitor. All right, so for instance, you can go to this one and Control F, Catalina. So I can see that some people are talking about granola cereal, Catalina Crunch, Grain-free cereal. So I'll try to find keywords like this, like okay, people can potentially talk about these things like grain-free cereal, granola cereal, things like that. So they're like long tail keywords. Long tail keywords are not that very useful for social listening, but sometimes you'll find a keyword where you'll get a mention for that keyword, and it can be so useful. You can get a ton of leads from that single mention only. So they're very useful. Definitely useful for finding leads, especially for a growing brand. Okay, so back to Mentionkit. Now, obviously, I spent a minute, but you really want to spend some good amount of time doing some research and finding those long tail keywords. Look, with Mentionkit, we do recommend you keywords. So if you go to projects and you scroll down, we can tell you things like this, like spoon protein cereal. This might be a good long tail keyword, but you still want to do your own research. Okay. So anyways, let's go back to keywords. Now we have set up we have set up all the keywords. So once you set them up, you wait for a couple of seconds and refresh the page, and then you'll get mentions. You'll immediately start getting mentions. Now with every single mention, you get a relevance score from 1 to 5, and immediately we're getting relevance scores. This is a really good example because 1 means that this mention is useless, right? So Kashi is one of our competitors, but as you can see, this thing is completely unrelated to a cereal brand. It's like some manga or something. All right, so correctly, our AI gave it a score of 1. You feel free to ignore the ones where the mention score is 1, but you can try 2, 3, 4, 5. Personally, if I'm busy, I just like start with like 3, 4, 5. Anything 3 and above is usually good enough. So we're gonna start with that. So I'm gonna click on filter by relevance and click on 3, 4, and 5. So the first one, we have this thing, current breakfast obsession is 3.5 cup, blah, blah, blah. A better thing to do is to look at this comment in the context. So I'm going to click on post. This is not going to open the comment directly, but going to open the post of the Reddit. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to Mentionkit. What was the Catalina crunch? Okay. Now, this is a bit of a weird one, but imagine that this is a B2B app that they're talking about. Personally, here's what I would do for this one specific mention. I would DM this person that, hey, try my tool. It is better in XYZ scenarios. This is the concept of a warm lead. A warm lead is essentially cold lead, but they're actively looking for, they have the pain point and they're looking for a solution, and you're there and you can give them the solution. And this is also why warm leads have a higher conversion rates. Okay. Now, I'll also reply to them so that way, like anybody else in the thread, they can take a look at this. Now you might be wondering, what should I write over here? So you can go back to Mentionkit and click on comment. And you gotta wait a few seconds and it's gonna generate a really nice human sounding comment. So I'm gonna copy this and I'm gonna paste it over here, and I'm gonna format it a bit. And before posting, I'm gonna slightly edit this, but it's up to you. We have spent a ton of time making sure that the comments sound very human-like, but we don't recommend that you just keep slamming them, but actually take a look at the comment, the context, and make your own edits. The reason why is because if you have AI generated comment, people can easily take a look and say that, okay, this is the AI generated, they're not gonna interact, and your brand goes down. You don't want that to happen. So you want to actually take a look at the context and the comment and see if the comment needs to be edited before hitting comment. All right, so that is what I would do. But now you might be thinking that, okay, I don't want to comment like this. I want to comment where I'm posting as the founder. So you can click on this drop down and you have options: comment as a customer, comment as a founder, or you can also DM as a founder. DM won't actually send a DM, but it will format it as if you're sending a direct message. So you click over here, and then you can also send them a email, send them a chat request. Okay, so that's how you go and you find leads. Now in this instance, once I have interacted with this person, I'm going to click on the tick. Boom. So when I click on the tick, something happens. We record that, right? So when we record that, it's always available in our reporting tool. This is where the second part of Mentionkit comes into play, which is the reporting part. Social listening is very hard to quantify. So when you click on the tick, what happens is that you go to reports and you can see that, okay, you have commented over here. The more you comment, the more this graph looks lively. And if you're in an agency, like a digital agency, PR agency, something like that, and you're working for your clients, you can sort your projects and you can export a CSV and give it to your clients at the end of the month that, okay, look, this is the work we have done for you. And each comment has a post, sorry, each report has a post. So that way they can double check that, okay, the work is actually done. You might be wondering why use this feature. So again, like two things: quantifying the work that's being done with social listening, social selling. The second would be that if you're in an agency like environment, and especially if you hired people from overseas like virtual assistants, you can give access, Mentionkit's access to them. You can invite them to your project and they can do this thing like posting comments, and that way you know that, okay, they have done the work. So yeah, that's pretty much Mentionkit in a nutshell. That's how you want to use Mentionkit. So to reiterate, the first thing you want to do is pin the web app. All right, that's the first thing. Second thing is set up your project. Third thing, set up your keywords, and always keep editing your keywords. There's no hard rule that, okay, keywords are like absolutely fixed. You can always edit them. The fourth thing is that you want to go and take a look at your mentions every single day, filter them by relevance scores. If you're running out of time, go and get the highest relevance scores mentions first, and start commenting, start DMing them. And then as you keep doing it, just like click on tick, 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 and like brighten up this graph. So yeah, that's all for today. Catch ya.